Good morning, everyone. I see Aaron's got the first person in award today. Aaron says, "Good morning, everyone." Cuz says, "Good morning, Mr. Gedros." Andy says, "Good morning. She brought donuts and coffee." Thank you, Andy. Cuz says, "Good morning, Andy." Oh boy, today we'll see if anybody's still in here. Can you guys hear me okay this morning? We'll wait and see if anybody says they can hear me or see me. Aaron says, "I hear you fine. Can hear and see fine." Great. I have got some good news this morning. I've got chicks hatching right now. They started hatching early this morning, but I won't have a count for them until sometime tomorrow because I leave them in for at least 24 to 36 hours. And the kai are between 9.5 to 10 ounces. I got one that's 9.5 and one that's 9.6, and Rusty is 10 ounces. So everything is great this morning. Aaron and Cosmo says they can hear you and see you fine, and Aaron says that's great news. Yep, I got quail again. Yahoo! And look at the shirt I'm wearing. Woman of Blessings says blessings all around. Good morning, Jan. Cuz says, question, when you freeze dry quail feathers, how is the texture different? Will they still be sellable for fly fishermen? There's no difference in them. Let me get a freeze dried wing for you so you can see. Okay, there's no difference in them. Let me see if I can pull one out. He may have to rehydrate them to get them out. But if they soak it in water for a little bit, it'll come out just fine. Now that I've got this out, you know who I got to give it to. RG Arizona Homestead says, "Good morning, Verna, and hello to all in the chat this morning. I hope all are doing well today." All is doing great, RG. Andy says, "Okay, I had to log out and come back in to get the video to play." Yeah, that happens a lot of times. If you start into a chat room too early, sometimes you have to refresh your page. All you have to do is refresh it instead of going out and back in. Jess says, "My quail wings dried great in cornmeal." Yep. I like when I do it that way. I like to use borax instead of cornmeal because cornmeal will draw some bugs, whereas borax won't. Cornmeal is good for drawing in mealyworms. Andy says, I'm on a phone. I don't know if I can just refresh. Yeah, that's the difference. I don't like using my phone for things. My phone is usually more of just a phone and a timer because I'd rather use my computer for technical things. Jan says, I put mine in a plastic container with a lid. Ah. RG says, I never thought about drying quail. I just eat it. Oh, we're talking about the skins and the wings for feathers. Andy says, I don't like my laptop anymore. Well, see, I don't have a laptop. I have an all-in-one desktop. Gus says, I'm trying to be professional now that I'm official quail breeder. Ha ha ha. Don't worry, this won't last long. No, but you're professional and congratulations, Gus. That is a great milestone that you just got. Now, are you NPIP as well? And he says, I watch on the TV and message on my phone sometimes. Yeah, that's sort of what Ed Got Bait does. Aaron says, what's everybody doing for the cool weather coming next week? Coming next week? Heck, it's already here. It's already coming in here. And he's cheering Steve Swanson on. RJ says, my goal this spring is to build a chicken coop and have quail as well. And Aaron says, Andy, that's what I do. Jess says, cool weather here, 25 degrees. It's snowing right now. It's 32 degrees. But listen to this. Echo, what's the wind chill factor?
Right now, the wind chill is 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Today, expect it'll feel like 23 degrees.
Gus says, no, not MPIP. That's next. Then after I get that, I can apply for my egg handler license. Well, here, most people apply for their egg handler license so they can sell eggs at the farmers markets and stuff. And then they get NPIP certified. That's all they need here in Ohio. I don't have either. I sell from my house. If people don't want to come to my apartment and get stuff, I don't need to sell it because Lucy and I love it good enough. Lucy says she'll eat all the quail if I let her. RG says try 13 today, but next week we will have a heat wave and I will have to break out my beach wear, and it's not even springtime. Because they require the NPIP before the licenses. Whoa! Tennessee is backwards, I guess. Andy says, it says 39 here. It's 32 here, but next Friday, it's supposed to be, the high is supposed to be 19. So I have to get plastic up on my windows this time. All my windows need to be plasticized, except for the one where the exhaust fan is, because when I need that on, I'll have that on. Lucy's all lovey-dovey this morning. Well, I cooked the impossible pie this week, and it was good. It tastes more like a sweet quiche. Um, it used a cup of quail eggs. That took 24 quail eggs for me. She says, Andy says, any hatching yet? Says, and she likes my coffee mug. Hey, Andy, put an A at the end there because Verna is a male's name and Verna is a female name. And a little funny fact, Verna is Latin for springborn. She says, 35 here today. I'm going to build a wall for all the cold air back up north, watching for my GoFundMe. Thank you, Andy. No, Verna means springborn. It's Latin derivative, like the vernal equinox, which is the spring equinox. And I was born in May. I was born on Mother's Day. Okay, Lucy, off. Off. Thank you, girl. So, does anybody else have good news or bad news? Aaron says, my birthday is May 8th. Well, mine's May 11th, Aaron. And I was born on Mother's Day. Were you born on Mother's Day? Because 8th is the earliest you can be born on Mother's Day. Andy said, my oldest daughter's birthday will fall on Mother's Day too. But she wasn't born on Mother's Day? No, Aaron, I know I am much older than you. Your birthday is 3 days before mine, but I am much older than you. But we're both in the strong house of Taurus. So, and we're not stubborn, we're determined. Andy says, my dad's birthday is May 8th, my daughter is May 9th, and I'm May 11th. Jan says, good news, weekend work will continue. Oh, bring in that money. No, my piggies are getting fat and they're growing. I mean, Rusty made the 10-ounce mark, and the girls are 9.4 and 9.5 and 9.6 ounces. Justin Mills says, good morning, everyone. Just made it on. Had to call the chiropractor on the way there before work. Oh, Jesse, I'm sorry. And he says she was not born on Mother's Day. She was 2 years old before her birthday was on Mother's Day. And she says, my freeze dryer is currently 50% paid off. Way to go, Steve. That's always good. And Andy's saying good morning to Jesse. Or hello, rather. I agree with Steve when he says, morning at Jesse Mills, no typing and driving. And he says, way to go, SOS. And Jan says, congratulations on 50% off. Paid off. Jesse says, good morning, Andy. Oh, boy, oh, boy. And it says good. He's saying good morning to everybody, one at a time. I hope you're not driving right now. I hope somebody else is driving you, Jesse. Nope, my jumbo wilds are hatching, and that is always exciting. I woke up this morning to hearing a bunch of chirp, chirp, chirp. Now listen, this is that isn't a noise the guinea pigs make. That's my chicks. And he says, at Jesse, hope your back is doing okay or just a routine visit. Another good thing is after I weighed each little piggy, I brought it here in the front room and sat and pet it. And I got them to make their equivalent of a purr. Chances more good news. Blessed, I still have food, a roof over my head, gas and electric on, greatly blessed and highly favored. I agree, Jan. We have to think of all the things that we can be thankful for. Um, the roof of, well, first off, you're thankful you woke up this morning. Thankful you were able to get out of the bed. And then you think of the food you have in your house, roof over your head, gas and electric. You have a computer or a way to get online. You get to look at my silly face. Uh, you got a community of friends that are a great family. Everything's a blessing. Grafton Branch Homestead. Good morning. Good morning, Matt. Jan says, Verna, you are a blessing. So are you, Jan. All of you are a blessing. There are times that it gets so bad that mostly this time of year, this is my worst time of year. This is when depression hits me hard. And all I have to do is think of you guys, and my spirit lifts right up. Steve says, definitely a great family community. I agree. Matt says, I'm sitting at my quail shack with a heater. It's 12 degrees here. And Aaron says, I agree with that, Jan. Steve says, brr. Matt. Aaron says, wow, Grafted Branch. Andy says, hugs. Matt says, you all goes me very well. Verna, you're such a good thing in my life. Thank God for you. Thank you, Matt. But I still can't enter anymore your competitions until after the first of the year. After winning 2 of them. Jess says, Verna, put on some music, sing and dance. That lifts the spirit. I can't do that because my PTSD. And Matt says, it laughs. He loves it. Yeah, but it makes me feel like everybody thinks that I put the voodoo on your picker. Jesse says, I was scheduled to go in next week for my monthly appointment. I pulled my back yesterday morning, then had to work late. I was hoping it would be better by this morning. No such luck. Oh, Jesse, I'm so sad to hear that. I hope your chiropractor makes you feel good this morning. Now, for those that weren't here earlier, I'm going to show you what shirt I'm wearing today. Warning. I love talking about quail. And this is the one that I got from George. Now you can get t-shirts from George. You just have to get hold of George on Facebook. Matt says most people that regularly join should win something. Yeah, but I'm not the only one that regularly joins, Matt. Matt says he loves my shirt. How cool. Like I said, you can get it from George. He's the one that makes them. And if you didn't get them at QuilCon, you can still get them from him. He's also got the one that helps fund the 18 and under contest, and that is I support little farmers. Matt says, George from my shire? Yes, Matt. And he says, got to work on my logo so I can get some. And he says, be right back. Going to make a cup of coffee. I ain't far behind you. My cup's half empty. But this morning, it sure tastes good. So tomorrow when I count, and I'm going to weigh a couple of the chicks to find out about what they weigh when they're about a day old. And then every week I'll have to weigh them the day after. Every Saturday I'll have to weigh them because that's when they're born, on Saturday. I better mark that on the calendar right now. White wings hatch. There we go. Matt says, I get really depressed this time of year as well. Been battling it bad this year. But you know what? We'll go to battle together. Yes, Matt. The reason why I battled it is because the August before my husband died, he had a massive heart attack. He had already been a stroke victim, but then he had a massive heart attack. And I was in caregiver burnout because I had been his primary caregiver for 7 years. Then he was in the hospital and he wouldn't go to the nursing home even for a weekend so that I could get a break. But anyhow, by the time they got him out of the hospital, his heart function with all the medication was up to 20%. And the doctor said, when I went to my doctor appointment, I tried to because we both had the same doctor, and I tried to pinpoint what's going on. And he said, with his heart function up to 20% with all the medicines he's on, he says, I'll be surprised if he's here next year. And in other words, you think he could die any day? And he says, yes. And I told him, I says, well, he'll make it through Thanksgiving, but I don't think he'll be here for Christmas. And I was right. He died on my granddaughter's 8th birthday in 2004 at December 5th. Then December 6th was the anniversary of when I had the slip and fall on ice that caused the multiple concussion that screwed up my life. So, yeah. Jess says, in the winter, we increase our liquid and hot coffee, which is dehydrating. Just remember to increase your water intake also. That would help with some muscles and joints. And Matt says, so very sorry, Verna. Very, very hard. Yeah. And, I'm the oldest person on my mom's side of the family that's alive. And I'm the oldest of the siblings. I lost both my brothers, and so all I have left is my two sisters, and none of them are very close. But life goes on. I got a new family. I mean, when I met Zach and Jenna in person on my birthday a couple years ago, I told them whether they like it or not, I'm adopting them. They're my kids. And so I got them and the three kids. Their three kids are my grandkids. So I got a new family, and that's what matters. Woman of Spirit says, hug, Verna. Life is hard at times. Well, Jan, I'll put it this way. When I was seeing a therapist for quite a few years, they were surprised that I made it as far as I have. And they say, you had a hard life. And I say, I don't know about that. It's the only life I know. Matt says, life does go on. We're here. You're here, and my life is certainly enriched from you. Here for you, however that means. You guys are all part of my family. But my kids are Matt and Zach, and my grandkids are Trevor, Madison, and Dion. And heart kin are better than blood kin because they don't betray you like blood does. And he says, that is so awesome. Verna, adopted family is sometimes the best. Jesse says, done at the chiropractor. Feel better already. That is great, Jesse. Now, just because you feel better, that doesn't mean take chances. Steve says, chosen family is better in many ways. Now, see, Steve and I are cousins because my mom's maiden name was Swanson. And, Steve's a Swanson. So we figured we're related somehow. And he says, that's good, Jesse. Jan says, Jesse, drink water. Matt says, y'all rock here. Matt, was it you that got the Wynola Ranch cages that I seen on the short this morning? That says, I do. I have a 3-tier, but got them a few months ago. Okay, did you just put a short this morning? And you were putting it together? Not this morning, no. Okay. So I don't know. She's not sure. Well, let me double check here. Let's see. That was you, Matt. Yeah, it was you, Matt. I thought it was you. Matt says, I need to do more videos and shorts, but oh boy, I'm so very busy. You don't know where time goes, lol. Yeah, that's true. Jesse says, Woman of Spirit, I have water. It's just been flavored with coffee grounds. Matt says, Oh, I posted a while ago. I don't know. Well, it just showed up on mine today. It was a short. He says, Love my flavored water. Yes, we do. But my flavored water is vanilla. French vanilla Folgers. About 20 years, the doctor told me used to drink water with your coffee, and then afterwards he did my blood test. He says, I guess your body's used to surviving on coffee. Bean flavored water. Roasted bean flavored water. Matt says, I like the flavor crystals. I don't like anything instant. Yep, I agree, Steve. Coffee comes from a bean, so it qualifies as a vegetable. While we're talking about it, I need to get more. Coffee, 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 coffee. Matt says, listening while out to chores now. Andy says, I'm out of French vanilla flavored creamer. And the last 3 times I've gone to the store, they have been out of it. I'm about to just buy vanilla beans and put it in some cream myself. That's probably be cheaper on you, Andy, to tell the truth. And my cousin does it again. He's got coffee for everyone. Oh boy, my arms are sore. Yep, I hear loud chirping, and then I hear a little bit of movement from the piggies. So I got babies, I got baby quails. So after I get down here, yeah, 7 people in and 8 likes. Andy says, lucky you. Andy, you'll have yours tomorrow. Because I think you put yours in lockdown a day after I did. So within the next 24 hours, you'll start having some hatching. Says, I want to see my babies already. LOL. We always do. See, I had them in another room. So the only time that I can actually look in them is if I'm going into the bathroom or coming out of the bathroom. 'Cause they're over by the bathroom door. So if your Goby says that your um, incubator's running perfectly, then you should have babies tomorrow. And Andy says her incubator is in the bathroom. I don't have a plug-in in my bathroom, and I don't have room in my bathroom. C says I used to incubate in my bedroom, and they'd hatch and get noisy at about 3:30 in the morning. Well, that's about the time I went to bed this morning, and they didn't get noisy until about 7 this morning. So they didn't start hatching until about 7. I listened to it for a few minutes, turned around, went back to sleep. Anybody else have eggs in the incubator? Besides Andy Rabbit and I. Andy says I've started using that bathroom a lot ever since I started using to put the incubator and brooder in there. Yeah, but see, I've only got one bathroom, and it's a tiny bathroom. It has a linen closet, a sink, a toilet, and a tub, all in a row, real quick, and just enough room to walk down. In fact, the room is only wide enough for the tub. But I usually have the brooder out here for the first week before putting them into the quail room. I don't think I'm going to do that this time. I'm going to put them all the animals in the same room. Two years ago, it was a jungle in there all winter. Yeah, you had all your plants hanging in there, huh? Then when you want to mist your plants, all you had to do is turn on your shower and let it steam up. Still got 7 in here this morning. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Eddie says, I had a bathtub full of plants too. Now, what do you do with your plants? You must get a lot of sunshine in that bathroom. Hey, Aaron, where's your wife? Where's Christina and Lane? And Matt, is Farmer KC with you? And he says, I put racks over the sinks too. I have grow lights. Aaron says, we're getting ready for Lane's basketball game this morning. Oh, tell Lane that I said good luck and have fun. Aaron says, his coach is a real jerk and makes him show up early. Yeah, I know you can be, Aaron. So how long does the game usually go for, Aaron? Jesus, let's kick that coach's rear. Haha. Yeah, I think Aaron, Steve, Aaron might like it. Aaron says the game lasts about 30 minutes. Only lasts 30 minutes? Oh, wow. Well, short games, but they are young kids, so I can understand that. And let's hope every member gets to play. Andy says, I'm not growing plants inside for the winter anymore. I build an outdoor spot and just grow out in the summer now. I swear, dirt has little feet and walks everywhere. Aaron says his team is undefeated for the season, so he's excited. That is great. With a go getter like Lane, they should be undefeated. Andy says, congratulations. I think that's wonderful. Best of luck today, Andy says. Little Rich Farm is here. It says, howdy. How are you doing, Little Rich? Is everything going good towards your farm, Little Rich? Andy says, can you tell how many baby quail you have so far? Andy, I don't even try to count. One thing is my Hoovervator's glass isn't that clear, so I really can't count. I don't even bother until I start taking them out of the brooder. So I'm not worrying about it. I know I've seen at least 3 babies. Could have been more, but not sure. Because, like I said, that glass is not very clear. And he says, I can understand that. Little Red says, my farm progress has stopped. I know your house burnt down, Little Red. But I thought you said you had a GoFundMe going. Somebody needs to share that out on Facebook so other people can contribute. What did they say caused the fire? Oh, now I remember. Electrical fire. What I meant was the progress towards replacing your house with something that you can live on the farm it with. It says no GoFundMe yet, just my PayPal, Cash App, and Zelle. You know, with PayPal and Zelle, both, if you get $600 in that account, you'll get a 1090 form, which means you have to file taxes on it. Excuse me. Wouldn't it be good if somebody just donated you an old camper that you can live in until you rebuild? That would be so cool if somebody could donate Little Ridge Farm an old camper that they could live in while they rebuild. Now, I ordered for pickup some game bird feed yesterday for my quail because I knew they would be born any day now. So we go to Tractor Supply to pick up the game bird feed that I already paid for. And the idiots gave me horse feed instead. So we had to go all the way back to Tractor Supply to give that horse feed back and ask and get my quail feed. And I told him, how in the heck would I put a horse in my apartment? And he says, I put 48 out of 60 eggs into lockdown. There were 3 that were questionable. I left in the incubator. I think they may have died early, but I'm not 100% sure, so I left them in. And Little Red says, my brother is letting me use a camper for a little while. Hope to be in it in a week or so. Well, that's good news. Wonder if he'd let you use it until it takes you time to get build back up. Gus says, hope your quail don't weigh 930 pounds. Yeah, you and me both. Could you see me trying to get a horse to walk up 13 stairs into my apartment? Heck, I don't even think it can turn into my apartment. Yeah, that was plain silly. So when we take the feed back, the guy comes out and he sees me taking a picture of the horse feed, and he goes all panicky. And he says, Well, they said junk, and I grabbed the wrong cart. He goes, and I didn't realize it until you guys were almost out of the parking lot. Well, I'm sorry. If you can't read, then you shouldn't be working there. And that's the Tractor Supply here. The first time I ordered delivery, they sent an old woman who couldn't hardly lift the bags. She was able to get them off the truck, and that was about it. And that's not a delivery. Andy says, I'm glad you recovered pretty fast, Verna, from whatever you had on Wednesday. No, Andy, I'm still sick. It's just Tuesday and Wednesday I was running a fever, and that put me over it. I'm still battling the ear infections. Glenn Wells says, late, but finally here. Good morning, Glenn, and it's better late than never. We're always glad when friends make it. Andy says, I very much dislike Tractor Supply. You and me both. Yeah, Matt, you're right. Garlic honey, but mine's not aged enough yet. Andy says, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully you get over it soon. Well, let's say I went through a series of antibiotics. Then a week later, the doctor put me on eardrops. And I forgot to do my eardrops this morning. Oh, you guys, you get to see me do them now. Fire cider vinegar. I know I never got around to making it. Let me shake up this bottle. Because I was supposed to do this at 10 o'clock and I forgot. And it's every 12 hours. Now hold that here for a little while. Then I do the next one. Did you know that you can buy a camera for your ear to check your own ears? And he says, well, it's 10 to 10 here, so you're good. Yeah, but here it's 9 minutes to 11, which is okay because I'll still be up at 11 tonight. Okay, that one went in. I always do the least affected ear first, and then I do the bad ear second. No, now it went all the way down. See, I have chronic sinuses, and I always have problems with this ear, but when it gets infected, it's bad. And if the drops don't do any good, then I'll have to go to see ear doctor and get another tube put in. But there's a little camera you can get on Amazon. Right here. That you can check your own kid's ear and everything to see if there's an ear infection. They call them wax removal kits. It's called a smart visual ear cleaner. But I haven't opened this one up yet. And it's a 3 megapixel camera. And he says, yesterday we kind of gave my granddaughter extra dose of her meds. Here, Dad and I didn't talk to each other about it. Oops, she got a good nap yesterday. I called and asked. Lucky it was not a major deal. Oh, yeah, that would all depend on what type of meds it was. And he said they said just let her sleep it off. Well, see, that's why you need to keep a tablet by the medicine. So you write down every time they give medicine so everybody can look at it and say, whoops, don't need it now. Jan says, Verna, I really like that you read the chat the way that way. I can work and still hear what's being said. And if someone says my name, I can do a reply quickly. LOL. Yep, that's cool, Jan. She comes with a bunch of camera covers. A charging cord. And here's the ear camera and the scoop for it. She says, our local feed store only opens till 5 p.m. and I work until 7, and Saturday only open until noon. Oh, wow. And so how can you buy anything, Steve? Matt says, oh no, SO. Woman of Spirit said, wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, the camera is pretty cool. And my doctor, her orthoscope had broke, and so she got one of these instead. They're a lot cheaper than an orthoscope. Cleaning brush. Well, I don't see the double-ended cleaning brush. Those are silicone ear spoons. And the cotton swabs are not in it. Oh, see, this is how it does. Matt says, if I was close, I'd bring it by. And he says, S.O. Swanson, my feed store will leave it out on a deck for us. Maybe you should ask about that option there. She says, if I stuck a camera in my ear, I'd just see out the other side. My mom always said I got nothing in between. You know, Steve, I told you we're related because that's what my mom used to say. Matt says, I've been using Tractor, but time to find a local store. I agree, Matt. But see, in my area, there's no local store. I have to talk to one of my kids. And Matt's laughing at Steve. And he says, great idea, Andy. Oh, Andy says, I had them leave a bag out for me yesterday because my granddaughter was sleeping and I couldn't get there before 5. Yeah, Tractor Supply, I can't order delivery from them because they want more for the delivery than what the product costs. She says, I can't even get there to talk about what I need or what they have yet. Guess when I finally be a farmer and have afternoon off, I can get there. Do you have any days off, Steve? Oh, that's the accessories I was reading. She says, I get weekends off. Okay, so that means you have to be up there early Saturday to get it. Matt says, someone needs to start a quail feed business and ship. The shipping prices of 50-pound bags is not very cheap. She says, my lazy butt didn't go yesterday when I took the day off to get my license. Oh, no. Matt says, yes, I long every day to finally be a farmer. I'd just be happy if I could find a house that has a yard. I mean, I don't care if it's a quarter acre or what. And he says, local feed stores are good. All I have to do is walk up and tell the guy how many bags I need and walk in to pay. And I walk in and say 2 bags, talk a bit, and walk out and toss my loaning ticket in the trash. And drive off, my feed is already loaded. Matt says, I'm blessed to be where I am, though. She says, you and me both, Matt. Farmer's life desired. Okay, we got a half an hour to go. Hey, Glenn, how are you doing today? Do you have any good news? I know you didn't catch my good news. My pigs are up to 9.5 ounces and up to 10 ounces. And my jumbo white wings started hatching today. Matt says, wow, growing big. Oh, yeah. Rusty's the porker. He's 10 ounces. The 2 girls are 9.5 ounce and 9.6 ounce. Glenn says 77 out of 79 eggs hatch. Congratulations. What kind did you hatch, Glenn? Matt says that's an excellent hatch rate. I agree. Let me see. That's a 97% hatch rate. And Andy says, wow, Glenn, that's great. Matt says, very nice. Well, y'all, I'll be right back. I got to get some more coffee. There we go. Glenn says mixed jumbles for my Shire breeder set. That is great, Glenn. Andy says that's really awesome on shipping eggs, Glenn. Matt says I have celadon eggs coming in, excited for the novelty. Matt says make sure to tell Zach he keeps track. You're right, Matt, he does. Glenn says they was my eggs. I was saying what birds I use. Okay. So mixed jumbos for my, okay, you ordered some my Shire breeder sets and you got mixed, started your own eggs. That's still a great hatch rate, no matter if it's your eggs, shipped eggs, or what. That's 97%. Nobody can beat that. Matt says, even cooler, Glenn. Congrats. And he says, I have celadon eggs about to hatch in the incubator right now. C says, I thought about celadon, though I do love my jumbo eggs. Matt says, very cool, Andy. Personally, I don't have room for things that just for pretty, just novelty things. I keep everything that fits my needs. And he says, that is better, Glenn. And he says, where did you get your celadon eggs from? C says, I see a lot of work with the celadons to keep them going. Yeah, because then you have to put new blood into them, because part of the problems of inbreeding can happen really quick with celadons because of that. So you'd have to put new blood in every once in a while. So like get celadons eggs from 2 different farms, so that way you have 2 different bloodlines, so you don't have to worry about that inbreeding problem. And I don't have anybody to recommend for celadons anymore. Andy says Casey Quail was giving some celadon eggs away yesterday. I didn't win. Oh, good tips. I plan on keeping them separate. I have a lot of people that buy eggs now want them. I get 4 a dozen, pays for feed. That's good, Matt. Andy says, I raise rabbits, and I don't think there will be much different work in breeding celadons. Well, it depends on how you start, you want to keep incubate one cage at a time so you don't mix them up. That way you always know which line they're at. So when you add the new blood, you have kept both lines pure. So you can always switch from one cage to the other, a male. Now, which breeding do you do for your rabbits, Andy? What type of breeding process do you use? Matt says, I order from whiskey, so we'll see. And he says, yes, that's right. My eggs were coming from, I think, 4 or 5 different cages on these eggs. So I can have a few different bloodlines there. Yeah, as long as you keep them separate like you do the rabbits. So he says, I line breed now. Cage 1 and 2. Got to do 2 more cages so I can spiral breed. And he says, I want the different set, different color of birds. Yeah, Andy, because a lot of that's what you do when you go for your celadons. Ask them what color birds they have that are laying the celadons. Matt says, is like to do rabbits for their excellent compost. You know, Matt, with rabbits and Kai, you don't have to compost their manure. You can put that straight onto your plants because that's a cold manure, whereas quail poo is a hot one. And he said many color birds, that is. Says, what did you mean about breeding rabbits? I was typing. What style of breeding do you use? How many different lines do you have, Andy? And Matt says, oh, yes, fast. Yeah, you can put rabbit and Kai poo straight onto the plants. But quail poo, you have to if you put it in the winter on the lots that you don't have anything on, then in spring you have they'll be ready. Glenn says, I've hatched 407 since my first hatch back in June. I was having pretty good luck around mid 80s, but Zach convinced me to try upping humidity on his live stream. Thought I'd try it. It worked. Yes, it does, Glenn. When I take the babies out tomorrow, I will be adding more hot water to the incubator when I close it back up. Yeah, you only have to up it up 5%. Let's see. Well, this may be the last Sunday. I don't know if he's going to do a live stream on the 25th or not, because Christmas is on a Sunday this year. Jan says, so humidity should be about 85%, 75 to 80, Jan. And he says, I have had 5 bucks and 4 does in one breed. I don't start with, and brother is sisters, so none are related when I start my lines out. Yeah, so I may have to get 4 from you, Andy. 2 females and 2 bucks. 2 does and 2 bucks. Because I'm going to be getting some Havanas from Andy in September. And he says, I keep more bucks than most people, but from one doe I can keep all the babies does if I want and breed them to every other buck I have. And he says, I'm planning on doing that with the celadons too. Yeah, if you get 4 cages of celadons and you just keep hatching from one cage, from the other cage, yeah. Because the next birds I'm going to get after in around Christmas time. Linda Talon. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Linda. After the jumbo whites are a week old or so around Christmas, I'm going to be getting some white winged pharaohs to hatch. She says, good. Well, good morning, Linda. Been missing you. Yeah, we have missed you. And he says, with quail, one generation and 5 roosters, I can make 4 cubbies in 4 months worth of breeding. Yes. Because, with quail, at least with my Shire quail, you go 12 generations before you start having problems. Glenwell says, a few people has asked what kind of incubator I use, but it is my own design, do it yourself. So I take pictures and measurements for newbie quail lovers and explain what I do with the ugly low cost feather maker. How many eggs can you hatch at one time, Glenn? Says when I break it down for cleaning. Linda says, thanks, Shaw. I had a few deaths in the family back to back, trying to get back to normal. I had a single duck hatch yesterday. I'm sorry about your loss, Linda. And losing her this time of year makes this year harder every year. Glenn says he can hatch 120. And everybody's showing Linda support. How many duck eggs did you set, Linda? Let's thank y'all. Hopefully, I'm back for a while. I miss being on everyone's lives. Yeah, we miss you too. Since you had one duckling hatch yesterday, do you have more in the incubator? And what kind of ducks are they? Katrina. Hi to everyone from Gilroy, California. Good morning, Verna. Good morning, Katrina. Linda says only 8. There are still 4 in there, but I don't know if they're going to hatch. They're peeking from the ducks I hatched earlier this year. Did you try upping your humidity up about 5%? And he says, I can't wait to start only putting in my own eggs only. There's a lot of nail biting that comes with buying shipping eggs. And everybody's saying hi to Katrina. And Jan says, oh, I want Peking ducks. Now, see, if I had a yard, I could have Peking ducks, but I don't have a yard. Because I'm sure not going to try to breed ducks in my apartment. Shoo! See, says Texas is only that far on a map. And Andy's laughing. Katrina says, good morning at Steve, Linda, and Andy. I think Aaron's went to his game. Oh, wow. 11 people in here, and I got 11 thumbs up. Linda says, ha ha, come get me. No, ha ha, come me get you some, SO. Linda says, fast fingers and spell check. Katrina asks, ready for the holidays? No, Katrina, I'm still crocheting booties and socks for Christmas presents. She says, soon as I can get me an acre or two, can't have them with no yard, and my shed is littler than an apartment. How much land are you on, cuz? Are you all ready for the holidays, Katrina? And he says, I wrapped presents last night. Now I have to butcher the quail for Christmas dinner. Katrina says she's almost ready for Christmas or the holidays, depending on what you celebrate. Matt, do you celebrate Hanukkah, or what festivities do you have this time of year? Matt says, morning, Linda and Katrina. Hanukkah. Okay. Festival of Lights. Katrina says, Christmas and New Year's here. And she says, good morning, Matt. Well, with me, it's Yule and winter solstice. And Matt is happy. Hanukkah starts tomorrow, so happy Hanukkah to you, Matt. Katrina says, oh, and of course the solstice. See, I celebrate all holidays. Let there be light again. Oh, yes, the longest night is on the 21st. Well, it's really the night of the 20th, but winter begins on the 21st. And then after the 21st, each day is a minute longer. Matt says, thanks. You know, Matt, you should share that, lighting your candles on your live stream, and explain that to others, what it all means and stuff. That would be very interesting. Glenn says, I found out last year running through the house yelling, Santa came, Santa came at 6:30 a.m. will get you in as much trouble at 60 years old will get you in as much trouble as it did when 6 years old. That is sweet, Glenn. Matt says, wait, winter hasn't begun yet? Nope. Winter doesn't start until the 21st. And Katrina is laughing with Glenn. She says, Glenn lives with a bunch of Scrooges. I can remember years when my kids were young, I did not sleep Christmas Eve because that's when I was wrapping all the presents and putting them under the tree. Glenn says, I know, right? And he says, be right back. Got to go check on the eggs. Andy, you're just filling your fuel. Do like I do. Ignore the incubator until you hear chirping. And that's what I heard early this morning. Chirp, chirp, chirp. But these chicks are a lot quieter than they usually are. Katrina says, "Yay, congratulations, Verna, baby birdies." Yep. Then it says, "I thought you got rid of your quail, Verna." I did. I processed, the experiment was over and I processed them all. Well, I picked up some eggs, jumbo whites, and I'm starting back over again. And my Kai are now, the skinniest one is 9.5 ounces. The other female is 9.6 ounces. And the male is 10 ounces. And he says the incubator is in the bathroom, haha. And Katrina says last batch was my quietest yet, hoping maybe breeding for quietness. Linda says, that's fun. Are you only going to have jumbo whites now? No, Linda. What I'm going to be doing is in about a week, I am going to, or around Christmas time, I'm going to get some jumbo white winged ferals. And then after the white winged ferals, I'll get some jumbo wilds. So I'm going to have 3 different breeds. Woman of Spirit says, 1 year when my daughter was 12, she called me at work to tell me how beautiful our Christmas tree this year. She proceeded to tell me that she got into holiday spirit and mistakenly opened a gift. Oh boy. Katrina says, wow, they grow so fast. Yeah, so let me see. When they were a week old, they only weighed 4 ounces. At 2 weeks old, they were close to 6 ounces. At 3 weeks old, they were 8 ounces, over 8 ounces. And now at 4 weeks old, they are, Two Face is 9.5 ounces, Shadow is 9.6 ounces, and Rusty is 10 ounces. Woman of Spirit, I asked her if her brother knew what happened. She said no. I said, good. That way I only have one gift when I get home from work. Linda says, LOL, that's a good excuse to open gifts early. Jan says, my autocorrect is not going to get a gift for Christmas. It's been very naughty. And Linda says, my Christmas present came in yesterday. My heart is full of sadness and overcome with joy at the same time. I can understand that very much. You know, I haven't had a Christmas tree since 2003 because when my husband died, I didn't have one. And I haven't had one since. Katrina says, my brother used to peek at his gifts. Until one year the gifts were to Frosty and Rudolph instead of our names. My parents were creative. And Matt got a kick out of Jan's speaking about her autocorrect. And Katrina says, and Jan says, that's great, Katrina. And he says, I put a small one this year for my granddaughter. So he says, one year my parents kept my cousin's presents under their bed and ours in my cousin's house. We thought we knew what we were getting. Surprise! Linda says, I made gift tags that you have to rip open to see the names on them. Very inventive, Linda. Jan says, I started using 2 different wrapping papers, one for each child. That way they didn't know whose gifts were whose and they didn't unwrap anything. Linda says, Verna, I'll give you one guess what I got for Christmas. An incubator? Ed says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ed. C says, we use different color wrapping paper for each child. No names needed. Katrina says, I have a small house, no tree here. One year when I hosted Christmas, 8 had one of those little rosemary trees. Cool. Linda says, good morning, Ed. Matt says, LOL, my kids peek. I put boxes in other boxes, usually food. And he says, I don't have any problem with my kids trying to open anything like that. Linda says, no, better than an incubator. Eggs? Judith says, good morning, Ed. Dan says, good morning, Ed. Steve says, Matt, my mom would do that. We got lots of boxes of cereal. Morning, Ed. Trina says, freeze dryer? Then it says, LOL, I got my freeze dryer. Yay! That says, would have been here a bit sooner, but had 12 pounds of sliced strawberries to pack and vacuum seal. Then it says, Katrina wins, LOL. Well, see, Linda, I didn't think about freeze dryer because I haven't run mine for a couple weeks now. Because everything else is kind of like taking up my time, like crocheting. And Matt says, woohoo, Linda. And everybody's congratulating Linda. And Andy says, I use any kind of boxes to put stuff into wrap. And says, now I have to go back and watch everyone's videos. Now, Linda, you want to get retired at 40? He even has a group on Facebook, too. Glenn says, my son fell asleep on the couch waiting for Santa. We took all decorations down and packed away tree and told him he missed it when he woke up. The look on his face was worth the work. Glenn, that was evil. She says, I'll be able to say that in February, I hope. That said, Linda, check out John in Bibs on YouTube. Woman of Spirit says, oh, Glenn, that is priceless. She says, Glenn, you be me. And that's too funny, Glenn, said Andy. Yeah, that is evil. I love it. How old was your son at the time, Glenn? He was 12. Yeah, he was the perfect age to do that too. Jan says, you snooze, you lose, LOL. Guys, I'll be right back. I have to answer a call that you can't ignore. I'm back. Let's see what I missed. Linda says that's a story that he'll tell your grandkids. I agree. She says that Glenn, does he still speak to you? And he says she's going to check her eggs. Haha. Jan says, going back to my 12-year-old, she unwrapped a small gift that she had to let me know because she couldn't get it back in the packaging, which was a toilet tissue roll with a pair of leggings. Jan, that's priceless. Dawn says, I finally made it. I overslept because it's Saturday. Katrina says, how many are hats now, Verna? Katrina, I don't know. I won't know until tomorrow. Since I hatched this morning, I can't take them out until sometime tomorrow, and that's when I count. Everybody's saying, hi, Dawn. Matt says, I gotta run. Have a great day, everyone. Verna, have a good day. Matt, you have a blessed day and happy Hanukkah. Steve's saying good morning to Dawn. Ed says, go to Sam's Club and get 4 pounds of already sliced strawberries. So much easier, LOL, like $9 a bag or just a bit less. Glenn says, I woke all 3 of them up one day yelling, you're going to be late for school, and watched them run out of the house. They stood at the bus stop for 20 minutes until someone told them it was Saturday. Oh, Glenn, you are evil. Dawn says, good morning, Steve. Steve's smiling. Katrina says, Glenn, you have a mean streak. No, he's got an evil sense of humor. I hope that ain't what I think it is. Sounds like the guy downstairs burned something. Them or his kids did. Steve says, Glenn, in your old age, you are going to be on your own. Yep, somebody's burning some food downstairs. Because that's what that beeping noise is you're hearing. John says, Glenn, you are too much. Tina says, Glenn, are you teaching them to pull pranks? Have they done any to you? Yes. Inquiring minds want to know, Glenn. Andy says, I've gotten my granddaughter up and dressed for school 2 different times this year, just to drive to the school and no one was there. I can remember one year when my oldest was in grade school and we moved to a new place, so she knew she had to take a bus. She thought she was running late, but she was actually early. So she went chasing after the high school bus uh, because she thought she missed the bus and she still had half an hour to wait for her bus. Linda says, my last hatch, I left all the birds in the incubator till most of them hatched. And when I took them out, I had about 15 dead birds in the shell, fully formed and ready to hatch. It's probably because they needed more humidity, Linda. Is this from the hatch birds rolling the unhatched eggs around? No, Linda, it's from your humidity dropping. And his, oh, Verna, that's funny. Steve says that shouldn't have mattered, Linda. Yeah, because the rolling around is normal because they do it in nest situations. So it isn't from that. It was strictly lack of humidity. That's why I take them out at about 24 to 36 hours. And then when I remove the birds, I add more hot water to the incubator so they don't get shrink wrapped. And it takes 5 minutes of dry air before they get shrink wrapped. Linda says, I always wondered if they kill each other from being jostled so much. These were taken out at 48 hours, I think. Well, you shouldn't have had so many. Wait a minute. Oh, they all 15 were dead in the shell. Okay. C says, I'm barely able to almost be 24 hours before they come out. Typically at 12 if they be dry. Linda says she'll watch the humidity next time. Let's see what the heck I'm picking. I don't know how in the heck that got on the floor. 15 out of about 60. They could have just died from exhaustion or because they didn't peck the air hole open. I mean, there's a lot of different things. But if you increase your humidity when you take them out, then let it go for a couple days, you might have had more. But a lot of times they will failure to thrive in the shell too. C says, I removed chicks once and left 6 eggs in and forgot them, and it ran out of water. Ooh. And he says humidity can get too high and drown them in the shell too. I was told, yeah, if you get over 90% humidity, yes. Linda says, how high is too high? I just said that. She says, that's what I was told, Andy. 90% is too high. Katrina says, how often do you have hatched after 48 hours from the first hatch? Usually get stragglers then. After 20 days is when I do my cutoff, and sometimes I have them do it later. And he asked what kind of eggs, and Linda said quail. "13 likes and 11 still in the room." C says spikes during hatch to 85 to 90 is not uncommon, though it would go back down as they dry. True. And it's mostly when you get to 95% that you put it in danger. And he says, Linda, I try to stay under 70. Oh, See, Andy, you can go 70 to 75% at lockdown. It won't hurt. Linda says, I really don't even know how I hatched them. Aaron brought me 2 incubators worth of eggs, and then we had 2 funerals. I paid zero attention to the eggs until hatch day. That's why I have a calendar right behind my computer so that I can look at my calendar every day. I look at my computer what date it is. I look up at my calendar, okay, what's going on? And he says, that's why you hatch them, Linda. Well, that and she needed new life. Probably so, Andy. My plants are the same way. Only the ones I ignore survive. See what I do after I pull out the babies tomorrow? Then I run my pure hot water and fill up a measuring cup full of hot water, and that's what I'll pour into the incubator after I get the babies out. I still haven't got my lettuce put in yet, my hydroponic lettuce. I gotta slow down on the amount of things I'm doing. After Christmas, things have calmed down a little. And he says, some of my best hatch rates are the ones I just sat and forgot. Didn't get to them before they hatched, still in the turner, and no extra water added. Ooh. John says, I use a spray bottle of hot water and just mist inside the incubator before I close the lid. Me, I usually add about a cup of hot water, about a half a cup to a cup of hot water in the incubator because I know that the humidity is dropping. Let me see what my humidity is right at this moment. Gotta go to my Gobi. Oh, my humidity is down to 25%. That is not good. So I should add some hot water today and yeah, mine's down. No, it's down to 87%. Okay, it didn't load up. That's why. It's still loading. From the hatching and everything, it went from it's been 86 to 87 all day today. Oh, no, that's hour. Let's see what the day is. Yeah, the highest it got during hatching is 89%. Steve says, I haven't bought eggs since my second hatch almost 2 years ago. Andy says, my plant that was all planted in rabbit poop all survived this hot summer heat with no watering at all. That is great, Andy. Well, you guys, it is time for me to go. It is 6 minutes to 12, and I have to get ready to take Lucy out for her walk. Don says, I finally got all my hydroponic seeds planted yesterday. I'm going to be overrun for space. Cucumber, squash, bok choy, and more lettuce along with everything else. Woman of Spirit says, Andy, I do the same with rabbit poo and mulch. That says, have a great day, everyone. Katrina says, have a wonderful day, Verna and everyone. Woman of Spirit says, blessings all around. And I say, everyone, have a blessed day and see you tomorrow night at my Shire.